We find out Victor has got a loaded packed lunch, but it's no packing sandwiches. He's got a firearm in that lunchbox. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to review Season 1, Episode 4 of From. And this one is called A Rock and a Far Way. I guess that's a take on the rock going into the Farway tree.
It must be. And I tell you what, not surprising, in America, somebody's packing a gun in their lunchbox, is it?
I mean, where are they not packing guns in America?
Exactly. In the faraway tree, maybe?
Legit got these things everywhere. Anyway, we start the beginning of the episode with a flashback, and we see a weird-looking kid who straight away we just recognise it's Victor.
Yep, you can just tell us.
It's Victor, damn it.
What's Victor doing in the impact zone?
We see Victor as a small child, and he is like surrounded by corpses. Literally, it looks like everybody in the town has died. There's just bodies everywhere. They've been massacred. We see the boy in white, and the boy in white is like appearing to be friendly with Victor. He wants to call him over to play on a roundabout, but Victor, with his little lunchbox and surrounded by dead bodies, seems hesitant to go near the boy in white. We go back to the present, and then we see Ethan. He's matching the boy in white that he saw to the drawing made by Victor. So I think it's fair to say that both Victor and both Ethan have seen the same guy here. They've seen the same boy in white. And what does that mean?
Who knows what it means, but was that the last time Victor saw him? About 50 years ago?
Now, we don't know, but the thing is, does that mean only children can see this boy in white? Because Victor says he hasn't seen him, and Victor passes a message on to Ethan to tell him hi.
Yeah, because it seems like not many of our kids have been here, maybe.
I wonder when was the last time Victor seen this boy in white, and does this boy in white mean anything? Then Kenny is basically still trying to explain things to Jade. We've seen at the end of the last episode, Jade finally came to acknowledge that, holy crap, this is not an escape room, this is not fun and games, this is real, it's too damn real. He's showing him kind of that there's no fixed physical location, which I thought is interesting. So this seems to be just like, it's like a, how would you even describe this town?
Reality?
Yeah, it's like it doesn't, I mean, they've got like the map up, the pinpoint at the location that everyone from the town is from, like their hometown, and it's like the entire America is pinpointed on the map. So it's people coming from all these different states, yet no matter where they were going, no matter what their destination was, they've all ended up in this
But
town.
see, I like stuff like this, to try and figure it out, but I feel like Kenny's almost like really
defeat it, and he's like,
I don't even want to bother figuring this out. You can understand why someone would want to figure this out.
Jade doesn't think it's possible. There being no fixed physical location. He's like, no fucking way. But I mean, when you factor everything else that's happening, is it really that far fetched?
No, I don't know where Kenny's, like, how long he's been there, whatever, a few years, but you'd think that maybe these people would come together rather than sitting in a fucking diner eating shite and be like, right, we need to figure out an escape plan if there is.
Well, that's what Jade kind of does. He says, like, I'm not like you people. I'm going to figure a way out of here. I'm not just going to sit here and accept this. We then hear a
but Kenny can say here, well, that's what's going to drive you insane. But what, just sitting here, living while the forest fucking gets 4 inches closer per night?
Yeah.
Well, is that the way I live?
Well, we don't know that yet about the forest, but we do find that out later in the episode. But the radio emits static, and Kenny's like, don't worry about it, that happens. But Jade thinks that means something, and he is instantly intrigued by the static. I mean, which she would be, because I guess it would maybe suggest some sort of connection to the outside world of the town. Jade then just grabs the radio and basically fucks off and leaves Kenny sitting in the sheriff station.
Kenny.
We then see Boyd, and he is basically getting rid of the remains of Frank
is mangled. Frank Footer.
Frank, who was left in the box, not in a good place here, not in a good situation.
Blood all over him.
Yeah, he gets put into a wheelbarrow, and it's like what a way to go. I mean, well, he's already gone, I guess, but I mean, the guy is literally.
This was quite a funny scene, though. You've got Jim and Ethan walking to the diner.
Yeah, going for pancakes.
He's like,
What do you need? What do you got in there? And it's like, just supplies, buddy.
Taking it to the church.
But yeah, Frank's basically getting transported to his burial point in a bloody wheelbarrow.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, so I mean, not good.
Well, that's what he's transporting me.
Yeah.
A jar.
We see Frank. Frank obviously reaches the destination where Boyd is pushing him to, and Boyd tells Father Khatri that he wants him to bury Frank, make sure he's buried beside his family. Father Khatri says, "Will you be attending the service?" But Boyd kind of laughs. No way. I think Boyd feels guilty. You know, he is essentially the one that, you know, killed this man, maybe. And Boyd then tells Father Khatri, "Are you going to mention the fact that you wanted to put him in the box in your little service?"
Again, I can see why Boyd thinks like this, but it's just pain talking.
I mean, I think Father Khatri was kind of dead on, to be honest. You've never used the box. You've never really felt like you've needed to use the box. If you don't use it the first time, then people are just going to think, well, there's no consequences for breaking laws here.
Yeah, but also, like, you know, religious people, it doesn't really matter what the person's done or whatever. When they die, they make it their great. So it's not like Frank's going to get made out here. It's not like he's completely lying. This is what happens.
What?
I'm saying when people die, he's like, "Oh, you're just going to put on a wee fake persona as if you didn't want him in the box." But that's just the way reality is. You see priests going to prisoners on their death row, they know what's going to happen. But that's just the way life is.
That's just the way it is. Then back in the diner, we've got Ethan eating his pancakes. Jim's like, you know, those pancakes are pretty good. But Ethan brings up Jim's dead son. So we've seen Jim and his wife talking about their child that they miscarried. This sets off Jim, and he goes to the toilets and he has a little cry. So obviously he's upset, and I guess that's why their marriage is on the rocks. I don't know if it was a miscarriage or whether the baby just died early, but yeah, they had a son that is no longer with them. Then we see Victor come in. Victor sits down beside Ethan and he's like, "Did you meet the boy in white?" He's talking about the boy in white. Then he reveals that he did indeed measure the trees, and that the trees have moved towards the house by 4 inches. So when is this from? Is this 4 inches overnight? Is this 4 inches within a week? It's kind of difficult.
Maybe it's whenever the boy in white shows up, that's when stuff moves.
It's difficult to, you know, try and put in context. Like, if 4 inches is a lot, if it's 4 inches over like the course of a year, then not so much. If it's 4 inches a night, then yeah, that is pretty big.
How does this work? Well, obviously, right, they live in there or whatever. That's where they are at night, but. Do they go through the houses? Do the trees, when they move, will they destroy the houses? Like, how does that work?
Maybe if the trees go through the houses and they morph into the house, then the talisman won't be effective because the forests become part of the house.
Maybe.
Possibly. And it looks like if that's the case, then the colony house is going to be affected first, because that appears to be
closer
to the woods than the town. So yeah, maybe you should be looking to put in a transfer. He then talks about the boy in white, but before anything else can happen, Jim comes out, and Jim basically pushes Victor around a little bit, and he's like, "Get you away from my son." And I do feel a bit bad for Victor here, because I mean he's kind of treated like some sort of pedo. He hasn't done anything.
And at this point, Jim's never met him before, hasn't he? Not.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have seen him, like, but I don't think he's.
Although I can see why he's like, "Yeah, what's this fucking weird kid guy showing pictures of my son?"
True. We also seen Victor in the colony house. I mean, earlier when he was like I think he was like drawing a picture of Julie, and then when Julie woke up, he's kind of like drawing her, and our first reaction is to like pull herself away and cover herself up. So it's almost like they're treating like Victor as if he's some sort of homosexual predator, but he hasn't really shown that. I don't see why. He just seems like a bit of a weirdo, but he hasn't really gave me those sort of vibes, so I don't know why.
I can see why people would think he is, but yeah, he's too simple-minded. It's not going through his head that, here, anything I'm doing is weird here. Me sitting beside this 8-year-old's weird. Like, in my opinion, I think what Fatima has done is shown far more grooming than fucking...
Yeah, see, if Victor was doing what Fatima has done, then you'd be saying, "No, that's wrong, that's asking."
"I keep pictures of you in my lunchbox."
I mean, like when Victor's drawing a picture, like, but it's clear that he's got like some sort of childlike mentality. Whereas Fatima was saying, "Oh, yeah, my boyfriend would love to draw pictures of you because you're beautiful," even though the pictures that he draws of her are like when she's kind of like a bit revealing and undressed. So, like, and I don't know. To me, it was
pedos.
a bit strange there. We also, Julie finds out that people in the colony house kind of share everything, whether it comes to clothes, whether it comes to food, whether it comes to anything, and that they live.
It's just fucking communism.
Yeah, they live communally. So yeah, it's basically like the colony house is like a big massive communist house, and Julie at first looks like she's kind of regretting the decision, especially after her shirt gets stolen, but she did borrow someone's pillow, so I guess it was a fair trade.
Pillow for a shirt.
Tabitha goes to visit her daughter, and when Julie is showing like a little bit of interest in coming to see her family, Tabitha's like, yeah, you can move in, it's okay. Then Julie angrily reacts, saying that I never said I made a mistake by choosing this place, and they just argue, and Julie confronts her about knowing that her parents were going to get a divorce, and
it was one last hurrah,
and that they lost they may have lost a kid, but they still have two more, which I think they obviously know. I don't really get.
I didn't understand this outburst. Like, here you lied to us, you did this whole trip just so you could have one nice big family last ride in the sun shit together, and here we are.
Yeah, Julie obviously does kind of think like your typical teenager, like. So
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's awful, but it's like every show that does this, they do it exactly the same. Why can't there be a teenager that's like, here, they're smart for beyond their years?
I'll say, to be honest though, I could watch TV shows that didn't have any kids at all. It's very rare, in my opinion, that children actually add value to a TV series.
No, you're right. You're God. If anything, there's just hindrances.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, even like with Ethan and the boy in white, it's like that stuff doesn't really interest me. I'm just not really, I don't know, seeing children in TV shows, to me, it always kind of like weakens things. It's acting at the end of the day, I just think adults are better than it. Like, you can relate to adults more. I mean, but that's my opinion, whatever. We then see Julie and Jim, they're arguing again over the divorce and the death of their baby, and this allows Victor to knock on the window of their home, and he takes Ethan away to search for the boy in white, and he throws away his crutch. He's like, nah, you don't need this, you need this, and he gives him the big stick, which sounds a little bit Predator, but he doesn't give him that stick. He gives him like a walking stick, and he's like, here son, you need this, and they go on a quest, as Ethan likes to put it. Then Jim and Tabitha realise that, oh my god, Ethan's gone, where did he go? And they go on to search for Ethan. Meanwhile, Ethan and Victor are in the woods. Victor shows him the Farway tree. He drops a rock in there, and then the rock kind of like randomly falls out the sky. Victor explains that you can jump in these trees, and they basically get you away from your current location, but the only problem is you never know where you're going to end up. You could end up like 10 meters away from the tree, or you could end up somewhere in the middle of the forest.
See, that's the thing, like, if you're going to fall through the sky, is it really safe?
Well, I don't know, but we don't really know we don't know how far the rock's fallen, if you know what I mean.
True, but
the rock's just landed. We haven't seen how high it fell from. The rock could have literally fell from like 4 feet. Do you know what I mean?
But I don't know. Victor's probably jumped in it before, no?
Well, he has. He says that he used this to survive. Pretty sure that's what he said.
He kept on spamming this. He kept jumping in it.
Yeah. So that's Victor's big escape plan. We then see Jim and his wife looking for Ethan. They get approached by dogs, and before the dogs can do anything, Jim takes a gun out his packed lunchbox. He's packed and he's loaded with a gun. I mean, I didn't see this coming. I thought he had sandwiches. Maybe some like kids treats or something like that. Maybe a Cadbury Sun. I wasn't expecting him to pull out a gun. Petty Faloo, but no, he pulls out a gun, shoots it in the air. The dogs run off, and like I didn't even know there was dogs.
Animals? There's been no animals.
We haven't seen any animals apart from maybe there is animals with Nathan. I think is like the farmer boy. So I'm assuming maybe there's animals locked up in a barn somewhere with a talisman that we haven't seen yet. But these appear to be
So they kill animals?
Well, I don't know, but these appear to be wild dogs.
But how would the dogs not get caught?
That's what I'm thinking. Why is our dogs here? And how do these dogs survive at night? That's a question that we need to answer. But Jim, he's not really happy.
Maybe these dogs are the demons undercover.
Maybe.
That's how they would move during the day.
Maybe that's what they do. So Jim, instead of being grateful for Victor, he is angry, and it looks like he's going to do him some serious harm. He's like, I warned you to stay away from my son. But Victor's like, I don't want any trouble, stay away from me, and he's got a gun. So Jim has to retreat. Jim then goes to speak to Boyd later, and he's like, look, the whole Victor thing, and Boyd's like, Victor, he's not one of mine. You have to speak with Donna.
He had a fucking gun in his lunchbox.
He's like, I don't care about how things work, Boyd. He's speaking to my son, and then he reveals the gun. And Boyd's like, look, okay, I will try and, do something about it. Boyd says, look, since you've turned up, things have went pretty crazy here. Normally I like to get to know the new people. Why don't we have dinner? And Jim accepts his offer for dinner. We also have Father Khatri. He comes back with the wheelbarrow that he is finished, I guess, taking Frank out of. And Father Khatri basically hits Boyd with some home truths here. Says that, look, we need you. You're doing the best that you can for this community. You're our best hope at getting home, and you can't keep blaming yourself for what happened to your wife. He doesn't mention wife, but he mentions her, so I think it's fair to assume that he is talking about his wife. And Boyd's not happy about this. He's like, you're going too far. But Father Khatri's like, look, he doesn't care. Someone needs to be here. Someone needs to tell Boyd that he's needed in this community, and that he is basically the saviour of this community, and that he is the one that keeps everybody in high hopes, and he is that keeps everybody alive.
You were fun at the towels.
Yeah, before Boyd got here, people were dying every night. So
I'd love to know, right, how Victor survived so long without a talisman.
The Farway tree. So Boyd takes us in here.
In his fucking lunchbox.
And I thought this was, I think this was possibly the best scene of the episode.
When Boyd starts screaming?
No, when Father Khatri and Boyd are having this conversation.
Oh, bro, I thought when he started screaming was funny.
No, it was funny, like, beard. So,
It was almost like he plucked his beard and it hurt, so he just started screaming.
I enjoyed this, and Father Khatri, just letting Boyd know that, look, you need to be strong. We need you to be strong. You can't, you can't blame yourself for anything that has happened. We then see Boyd, getting ready for the dinner, and he kind of just looks in the mirror and lets out a big massive fucking scream, like a random big scream, and then the next scene starts where he's sitting down having dinner with Jim, Tabitha, and Ethan. It was kind of like out of the ordinary. One minute you've got Boyd, who seems composed and relaxed and calm, he's been very professional so far, and then he literally just fucking screams as loud as he can into the mirror, and then the next scene transitions into him sitting down just having dinner.
Was this him letting out pain, anger, or was this just like, holy fuck, I don't want to go to this dinner? And he was like, what was it?
I think it was obviously the former, like.
He didn't want to go to the dinner?
No, the former. He's letting out pain and agony, and
that's alright.
You think he was screaming because he had to go and eat dinner with Ethan? Pancake boy?
Maybe.
Alright, so we're at the diner. They're getting served up dinner. Sara is saying to Ethan, here, do you want to come and help me?
Maybe he wants a lunchbox?
Maybe he does. Kenny then wants to have a word with Boyd. Kenny and Boyd are speaking. Then we transition to Sara, and all of a sudden she starts taking a pain in her arm, and her arm starts being sketched into. It's almost like there's a imaginary knife or pen that is like scratching.
It's like, kill the boy.
It's like scratching her skin, and into her arm it reads, kill the boy, as she looks over at Ethan eating his dinner. Then she starts to fall, and I guess she has some sort of spasm, or it was
attack,
fit, seizure, something along those lines.
I think she looks like a man.
And then Boyd, what?
I think she looks like a man.
Right, and then Boyd runs in and basically checks on her, and that's how the episode ends. Now, we've seen Ethan take a seizure in episode 2, Now we've seen, was it episode 2 or was it end of episode 1?
End of episode 1, right?
End of episode 1.
No.
Or is it beginning of episode 2?
Beginning of episode 2.
Yeah, beginning of episode 2. Now we've seen Sara take a seizure. Is there anything to do with seizures here?
I think there is, because when he took a seizure, Boyd and the doctor were like, hey, what about... And Jim's like, what do you mean? I think there's something, yep, definitely.
So, yeah, is there something related there? And that's some big questions we've got to ask. Why is Sara now being tasked with killing Ethan? And apparently, according to this guy, why does Sara look like a man? That is the big question.
Sara's seeing the white boy as well, the little boy in white.
That is the
he wants to kill Ethan. He can't do it himself.
That is the big question that we need to ask. Why does Sara look like a man? Anyway, that's it. Episode 4, A Rock and a Farway. What are you rating this episode?
Probably I'm going to get a 6.
I will also give it a 6. I mean, I liked it. I thought it was a good episode. I don't think it was great. I
feel like it went down a different path from what the other 3 were. I feel like it introduced us to like magical stuff that I'm not really too keen on. Like the whole Farway tree and her getting stuff sketched into her arm. It feels like it's out the realms of reality, even though the entire show is. But I feel like what's going on? Sort of thing.
Aye. What's going on, guys?
Do you see where I'm coming from? Like, do you not feel like the Farway tree and something getting sketched into her arm is a lot more than these creatures that come out at night sort of deal?
Well, not really, because in episode 2, like, she's been told to kill people and, like, you never questioned that.
Yeah, that could just be a mental illness. Something that actually gets sketched into her arm's a bit different.
I would argue, you know, everyone being trapped in a town and not being able to leave. I think that's...
Yes, but The Walking Dead's got zombies, but it's still set within the reality of the world.
True. I mean, I get you, but... fair enough, look. We're giving that 6 out of 10, guys. I'm not here to argue.
Yeah, see when Arnie's taking on the Predator, right? Is he jumping 50 foot in the air and hitting it with his body?
Well, if they remake the Predator in 2023, probably will be.
Anyway, guys, 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Till next time. Peace.